Unmute me!
Listen to me, you whining little whelp.
From the Gettysburg Tour Studio.
Hey everyone, it's Cameron.
Shut up!
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg Today.
There's no time. Hello, for people that bad at care. True internet coverage of pressure. America's dead.
I'm beginning to see why your wife left you.
Come on, man.
Dibbit schmibbit, I said more ham.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's Friday, and as is tradition on Addressing Gettysburg, we are doing our Friday show. Sometimes it's on Thursday. Sometimes it's not at all. But today, we are doing it on Friday. Ronnie Ronstadt is sitting here in the co-pilot's chair. Hello, Ronnie.
Hello, Matt.
Why do you have a mischievous look on your face?
Well, I meant to talk to you.
Oh, okay.
That actually reminds me. So I signed up, thanks to Mark Blanchard, after his presentation at the Harrisburg Civil War Roundtable. I signed up to be a member, and they have their meetings. I think I know it's a Friday. I think maybe the third or second Friday of the month, something like that. So
Harrisburg.
So
Oh,
perhaps
Jesus.
we could bump that week onto Thursday. Like we did for his presentation.
that
was
would-
like a
God, are
special
we going
one.
to have something
like bouncing? I know.
ridiculously unusable as my former custody agreement?
That's what I'm shooting for.
What?
Just to make it-
It was so convoluted. Like, you get the first 6 weeks of the summer, except this week right here in the middle, and this day.
Yeah.
And then you get an extra week at the end of the.
No, I think if we did the second
I forget
week,
what it is, but I'll
you
confirm,
find out what it is, and that week of every month we'll do it on Thursday. Our roundtable is on Tuesday, right, Eric?
Yes.
And it's not the second week of the month.
And
I
by
don't
our roundtable,
remember.
which roundtable do you mean?
The Cumberland Valley. Yeah.
And our roundtable,
Gettysburg.
Gettysburg roundtable is on Thursdays, the fourth Thursday every. But it
Fourth
doesn't coincide with the Friday Harrisburg one.
Look at
See,
you all hoity-toity in the Gettysburg roundtable.
I think I'm going to. I'll join Gettysburg, and I'll also join
me
Harrisburg.
too.
So there's some options, because they're not all on the same night, which is good. And then I can just run around from whichever one is interesting, that week or what I have time for, or something like that. Yeah. How much is Harrisburg?
I think it was. Don't quote me. I think it was $30.
Okay.
I think.
So $25-$30 is
Somewhere, it's
roughly
around
around
average,
what
yeah.
these guys charge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. I have no problem
Actually,
with
you know
that.
what? I think it was about 30 because I think Mom and I qualified as family, and I think it was like 56 or 54. So you get like a little bit of a discount if it's two or more
Why'd you qualify as family?
because we live under the same roof.
Oh, because you are a family.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
there's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some places, like the YWCA, which I have a bone to pick with them, they do not. If you live under the same roof and your blood relatives, tough. It is married couples and their children only. So, like, I cannot have
You can't marry your mother.
Yeah, I can't have a joint membership with Mom to get a discount. Like,
Not
she
in
has her own
Pennsylvania.
senior one, and I have my... Even though literally same address, same utility, we can prove like utility bills, that kind of stuff. And they're like, no, that's not family. I'm like, wait a minute.
What are you talking about? How's that not
Wait a minute.
family?
It's an extra $400 if we, it's like two individuals, even though she gets
You got to
the
have
senior
your mom
discount.
do it, and then you are her child.
Yeah, dependent.
There you go.
Yeah.
Her dependent. Well, it's not too far from.
That's right. You should do that.
No.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Anyway,
I mean, how are they going to prove it? Like, how would they prove
that I'm
it?
not her husband.
Yeah, that you're not her
That's the point.
dependent.
Well, no. I think there's probably an age restriction on that,
Yeah,
or
I guess
some
like
kind of
legally,
like.
like a legal
You just
dependent.
got to fake you got to fake some disability until
my
you get
God.
registered, and then what do they do about it?
This is you just totally so. It has nothing. It's not a disability, but it was a scary as hell situation. I've never seen somebody have a seizure like close to me.
Oh.
And I was down at the casino on Tuesday night. I went down and played some cards, and a table behind me a guy started having a seizure, and like everybody at that poker table was like, "What do we do? What do we do?" Like everybody stood up because he was like convulsing in the chair. And before anybody, like some people were like yelling across the room, "Don't touch him! Don't hold him down!" Like whatever. And in the meantime, the poor dude falls out of the chair, it was like a loud thud, and it went on for about 3 minutes until he finally, then he just kind of like laid there. Then they eventually got him up in a chair, and the medics responded with like it was a scary thing.
It
like,
is scary.
It is. But like, you're
that.
not supposed to like
hold them down
restrain
or anything.
them,
right?
but you are supposed to make sure that they don't like
fall.
Eat their tongue.
cause further
No,
injury.
That's an old wives' tale. You are not to do anything with like, don't put your finger in their mouth, don't put anything in their mouth, like don't do that at all.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, when we were talking about it afterwards with them, a couple of us just tried to calm him down because you are supposed to speak calmly to him,
Okay.
even, or her through the episode. Supposed to like protect their head if like so that they're not like bouncing it off the floor or whatever. But beyond that, you're not to like restrain them or do anything. You're supposed to like calmly say it'll be okay. Like, we're right here with you, that kind of stuff. But no, that is an old, like kind of like old school thought to try to like, so they don't bite their tongue.
Yeah.
That's totally not what you do medically anymore. Because here's the thing, if they get lockjaw when you have your finger in there,
yeah.
good luck. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
Ooh, good
yeah.
point.
Well,
You bite your finger off.
and that, like they used to say, put a tongue depressor in between their teeth. Well, the problem is if they bite through that,
Yeah, then
a
now they're gonna
choking
choke on
hazard.
it.
Right, right.
And
So anyway,
that's
I don't
about-
know. Yeah, that's
yeah.
just like when you said the disability, that was not, I don't know why that flashed. That was a scary, like.
I had a moment
my
like that
God.
once. I was
Imagine
at
Veronica and her mother walking into the YWCA to get a family membership.
I
and
can fake a
Veronica
limp.
just starts faking the kicking chicken on the floor. That'd be fucked
Oh
up.
man,
The
Yeah, that
kicking
was-
chicken.
That's what we always called it in the army. Man. Like,
That's funny.
not seizures. Like,
Oh,
but,
that's great. The kicking chicken. Oh, man. I swear
I have
to
to look
God.
up the legal definition of dependent. They can just, if I'm like financially dependent on her, can I just,
Yeah.
might be able to get a tax break, come to think of
well,
it
I mean,
too.
you're a contractor, right?
She can be dependent on me. Yeah.
Why don't you set up an
I
LLC with your mother as the as the president thereof?
Nah,
gets
I think I'll
paid,
pay the
then she
extra
pays you.
$400 for the Y membership. It's fine. I take it all back.
I had a situation like that once. I was at a fundraiser, and you do it in like a reception hall where there's like a wedding or something, right? And I'm sitting at this table, with strangers, and so we're all talking, and it's salad time, and there's this older couple straight across from me, and I don't remember, the lady asked me a question, and I was answering the question. As I'm answering the question, I see her eyelids start fluttering and her eye rolling back into her head, and she just kind of just slumps like this, and like. I see her going, and I go to her husband. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
And so he turns and he grabs her, so she falls into his chest, and I'm like, holy shit, this woman just died in front of me, and it's like the worst feeling you've ever had. And I stand up, and I'm like, is there a doctor? There was like 900 people there, right? So like, and thank God there was a doctor over at the table, and she came running over, and I said, no, a doctor. Get it?
No, I missed it.
I
had
said
no doubt.
she came running over, and okay.
I'm not going to play into your.
It was a misogyny joke.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't get it either until it got explained.
Yeah.
0.0.
That's what I scored on that joke.
Yes.
Well, there's nothing
there a
like
negative?
imminent death to get your heart pumping.
No, but it is a scary thing to see, especially because your instinct is to help,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and you can't because you don't know what to do. You're not a medical professional.
right.
So I would have gone, in your case, and stuck like a shoe in the guy's mouth so he wouldn't bite his tongue.
Well, he wasn't at my table, but the people that had been playing with him for a couple hours said he was drinking on top of it. So like halfway when he had already been on the floor, and a couple of us just kind of instinctually, I guess instinctually, I know for myself, I can say instinctually, I just like ran over to try to like see if I could help in any way. And like some people were backing away, like completely like freaked out. And there was actually a volunteer fireman at a couple of tables over, and he came over and he was like, roll him on. The lady at the table started screaming, he's been drinking. Blah. So they're like, oh, he might vomit, like is what the next thought process was. So they were like, even though he was still convulsing, like we helped him just like kind of roll on his side and like kind of held him, like I was like rubbing his calf, so everything's okay, like whatever. But it was just without that training, your instinct is to want to help.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people's is, but again,
But
you
what do you
don't know.
do?
Do you make it better? Do you make it worse? Like what? Yeah. So
Like
it
when
was
that lady
scary.
did that at the table, my instinct was to go over and slap her face until she woke up.
That,
Like
yeah, because that sounded like, I mean, I don't know
like-
what that wasn't a seizure. That was like, sounds like a
the doctor,
stroke or
when
something.
she came to,
Yeah.
and the doctor came over, and I think what happened was, remember when I passed out from taking the blood pressure medication and the
I remember the story.
drinking?
Yeah.
But yeah, you didn't see it, but
No, I
like
didn't see it.
you remember that I passed out. You
Yeah,
know
yeah,
the fact that I
yeah.
passed out, and she thought after talking to the lady that might have been it. She took her blood pressure medication late in the day before they came, and then had a couple of glasses of wine,
That'll do.
and she
Yeah.
went right out. So yeah, that was scary. But yeah, like seizures are scary, and also like I remember one time my grandfather had he had a brain tumor, and this was actually after his surgery. I went to visit him at his house, and we were just talking, and he was telling me about something he was going to sell out of the dining room, like the dining room set, or I don't remember what it was, but he kept calling it. And he goes, "Yeah, so we're going to take somebody coming on Saturday to come pick up the mushroom." There, and I go, "The mushroom?" He goes, "Yeah, the mushroom."
Is it a stroke?
The mushroom. No, because it was after his brain surgery, so it took a while for his vocabulary to come back.
Yeah.
So, and he was getting frustrated with me. I'm like, "What do you mean the mushroom?" And he goes, "The mushroom." He's banging on the table. I go, "You mean the table?" He goes, "Yeah, the table." He goes, "Jesus Christ, why the hell was I calling it a mushroom?" Like he knew he was doing
yeah,
it,
yeah.
but he didn't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of sad. Well, it was sad. It was very sad.
I suffered the pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
When I first started practicing law back in Allegheny County, I'm not going to say his name. I mean, anybody that's listening that knows him would know who I'm talking about, because he was just a nice guy, awesome guy. He had a couple decades in the DA's office, was in the homicide unit, like good prosecutor, et cetera, like but pleasant, like even, adversarial, like just easy to work with, like good dude, like knew his law, was a straight shooter, whatever. And like he started acting bizarre. I mean, just like he would like show up disheveled, which was unlike him. He would show up late. It turned out, so you have to keep your law license active by getting continuing legal education classes every year or credits every year. He let that lapse. He didn't meet his 12 hours 1 year, like all this weird stuff. And it turned out he had a brain tumor.
Yeah.
I mean, his wife divorced. Everybody thought like, what the heck is
Like
he like
he's just giving
drinking,
up,
or
or-
is
yeah.
he like what is he like depressed about, like what? It was bizarre. And then all of a sudden found out, yeah, he had a brain tumor, and he was just. Same kind of, I mean, like I remember going to the wrong courtroom, like just weird, like weird things. And then obviously there was an explanation for it. But last I heard, he got some treatment. He was living with his dad, and I don't know, he wasn't practicing anymore, but just sad. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
it is sad.
that.
And his wife divorced him.
Yeah.
And did she go back when she realized it was a brain tumor?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah,
That's a horrible.
Yeah.
Could you imagine divorcing somebody and then finding out like it
But
wasn't
there was
because
an
they were an
explanation,
asshole?
right?
Yeah.
It wasn't right. Yeah, it wasn't like he
Yeah.
was like cheating and just
No.
like disheveled because he had like 2 hours of sleep or something crazy. Like it was. Yeah, it was. I mean, there was a legit reason for it, but he was just such a nice guy, and that's
yeah.
what made it even worse. Is just you don't expect it, or you don't certainly don't wish it on anybody, but least of all the people that don't deserve it by outward
Yeah.
appearances. Like
I know there was a job I had back in Jersey, and we got a call from a local like service station because our manager had gone to drop his car off, and when he was in the office, he had a stroke. That's what they said. It looked like he had a stroke. But when they took him to the doctor and did some tests, it was actually a brain tumor, which I guess can make it look like mimic a stroke. So he had the brain tumor, and he did all these different therapies and things like that, but he didn't last, I think, 2 years after that. Like it was a little too much. But yeah, it's scary when you see people not acting like you expect them to act.
right.
That's a frightening thing. But it happens to us all. We all, the lucky ones, like my one grandfather, he died in his lazy boy waiting for us to come pick him up for lunch. Like just out. And he looked like he was taking a nap.
Yeah.
My other grandfather lived till 93. He fell down one day. And they took him to the hospital, and a month later he was dead. Like he just declined. He fell and then just declined.
Yeah.
I would rather go the first way, just
sure.
out,
Yeah.
out like a light. I don't even want to know it. I don't want to go through because it's like, somebody was telling me, who was telling me? Colby Sumner was telling me one time, because I was writing part of the narrative, and I wanted to know. I'm like, I go, Colby, like, can you give me details? What is it like to see people injured or wounded and die? Like, what is it? He goes, man, the hardest thing about watching somebody die was him apologizing to us. Eric, does that sound familiar to you? Have you experienced something like that?
No, I've never had anybody apologize to me for dying.
Yeah, so I guess...
it's like letting down your team or something?
That's what he said, yeah. But he goes, but it's also very embarrassing. Like, because you're letting everybody down. And also, like, that's a very private thing, like dying, Sure. And to do it just, on a battlefield with all that chaos and everything like that, it sounds awful. It sounds awful. So I'd rather just go out like a light.
This sounds awful too, but like, you always wish that for your pets, right? But like the probability of that actually happening is very, like, it's just not.
No.
I don't know it would be interesting to find out what the statistics of the causes of people dying. And I'm sure like a lot of it is heart attack and cancer and ALS and Alzheimer's, like all these, horrendous things that somebody doesn't just like fall asleep.
Yeah.
not wake up. You know what I mean? Like you very rarely hear about those kinds of.
But now they're talking about this thing, sudden adult death syndrome. Have you heard of this? Yeah. I don't know exactly what that is, but I've heard it bandied about once or twice, but I've never actually paid attention to what they're actually talking about. But like apparently
SIDS, kind of like
it's like SIDS, but it's like perfectly healthy younger adults, like in their 20s and 30s, are just dropping dead.
No, I know. Well, they had like the Tide Pod challenge and stuff like that.
Well,
so
those idiots deserve.
I can't imagine it just perfectly like. I have
So
no
these
idea.
are
I mean,
wait, you're saying these are Tide Pod kids who grew up?
whatever. Whatever. I mean, no, I don't know. But all the different. Goofy
That's
stuff.
funny.
Somebody else. What was the other thing just recently? Like, heat up your chicken in NyQuil or something.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and people were like begging, like, don't do that. Like the fumes.
Yeah, the fumes.
Oh my god, just stupid stuff.
Like that's how you cook meth.
Why would you heat your chicken up in NyQuil?
I don't know. I don't have to.
If you want to fall asleep from poultry, get turkey. You don't need to heat it up in NyQuil.
No idea.
People are
No
weird.
idea.
People are so weird.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
So Devil's Den is open mostly, right? Mike, did they remove that fence still, or is it still there?
No,
Right.
still there.
Okay. So
It could be there as long as a couple growing cycles. Actually, they're trying to get the grass reestablished.
That's right,
The native grasslands.
but otherwise though,
So why'd they leave all the brush laying on top of it then?
they just haven't removed it yet.
Because I'm not the smartest man in the world.
No?
But like I've walked through a forest or two, and the thing that I don't ever remember seeing was
Grass.
was grass growing up from underneath the
Underneath.
dead leaves on the forest floor.
Yeah, it kind of carpets it. Yeah. But so last weekend we went and did some of the brush clearing.
Yeah.
And that was fun. That's a really good workout.
It was a
I
good
kind of
workout.
want to. It
What
was.
I remember. Yep.
From what you remember? From when? From hearing me talk about it?
No, from watching the
From
people
watching.
That did it, yeah.
I kind of
People
want to
that
buy
stay
a
for a little-
farm
a few
just so I can clear brush.
Boy, do
for
I
the
have a
exercise.
job for you.
And do you? You got some brush to clear?
Oh man, I can give you all the brush to clear that you want.
Bring it on. Next spring. I'm still recovering from last week. No, but that was fun, and we did that, and then we had to go because we had other things to do. So we were only there for like an hour and a half, but we cleared like a 20 by 20 foot section of it, I think, and it was pretty neat, and everybody kind of working together. Next thing you know, the little area was totally cleared.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and it was a lot of fun. But probably the most exciting bit of news that I have to share with everybody, if you're a patron, you already know this if you checked your emails today, but I had a coffee this morning with Superintendent Steve Sims of Gettysburg National Military Park. And we had a nice long conversation, about an hour and a half. We talked about all the stuff that's going on and been going on. And he shed some light on some things. And I said to him, I said, listen, we get asked a lot of questions and we don't know the answers because we're not privy to anything that the average person isn't privy to. And I would love for you to come on the show at least once a quarter, but at least once. Introduce yourself, let everybody get to know you, let them see you as a person as opposed to Oz. Because I said to him, I'm like, you're kind of like Oz, like you're the man behind the curtain, but nobody gets to see you. And I said to him, like, you're a nice guy. I'm sitting here talking, we're joking around and everything like that. Like, come on the show. Let everybody get to see you and get to know you and explain some of these things, because he gave me some explanations that I'm not going to attempt to repeat now because I know I'm going to screw something up. But he gave me some explanations on things that have not been in the rumor mill, that shed a little bit more light on decisions that have been made that have not been popular or whatever. But he acknowledged, those few Facebook posts that were, I don't remember the word he used, but we've said they were like snotty or snarky or snide or whatever. Yeah. So he acknowledged those, and he said that wasn't right, and he talked to the person who posted them, and and since then the tone has certainly changed. So he's going to come on next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be live. It's going to be a call-in show, and I'm going to stress call-in show. Because we want you to get to meet him, and we want him to get to talk to you. We are all about building our little community here at Addressing Gettysburg, and part of that is to work with people outside of our little community and bring them in and get, bridge the gap between y'all. And so that's what we want to do. We want you to call in. Patrons, I've sent you an email, and I'm looking for people to volunteer to commit to calling in, just to kind of prime the pump, because people who are watching might not have the nerve to do it. But if there's a flurry of calls, then they'll go, oh, what the hell, I'll call in. Yeah. So that's the idea there. And so I hope you do. And I apparently was not clear enough in the post. Email me. I meant email me if you wanted to commit to calling in. Don't email me questions, because we want you to ask the questions. This isn't about me. This is about you and Steve Sims. So the more interaction between you and him, the better. Be polite, but he did say, he's like, I can handle any criticism. That's part of the job and everything like that. So, don't come, shooting at the hip and all, don't be an asshole. Be respectful. You're all adults, for God's sake.
And a reminder that if we play nice, the likelihood that, this will continue. We don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot. It's a big, I think, kudos. It's big land, so to speak.
I agree. It's the white whale. I mean, we got the big one, Well, and then also, but also he
awesome that he's willing to do it.
He is.
I mean, a lot of people don't want to.
He's very willing to do it. When I offered it to him, he said, I'd love to. He didn't hesitate.
Say again, what is next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Right here on the Tube of You. Subscribe if you don't subscribe already, and make sure you click the notification bell so you know when we're going live. And get your dialing finger ready. And by the way, some people have told me that they don't like to call in because they're afraid they're going to miss the show until we pick up the phone. Well, the beauty of our system is you get to hear the show. In fact, you hear it 3 seconds before everybody else does, because you're hearing it live. Whereas they're hearing it on a slight delay on YouTube. So you don't miss any of the show when you call in and you sit on hold. Is the audio quality as good? No, of course not, because it's a phone. But doesn't matter. It's not what this is all about. So I really do hope that we get to hear from a lot of you. This is a big deal for us, for sure. Yeah. But I think it's a big deal for the whole community here that we get to talk to Steve, and you can answer, get some of these questions answered.
I agree.
Like about Little Round Top, about Devil's Den, about the closure. So we've always said, the closure of Little Round Top, is because it was approved 10 years ago, but they didn't get the money until now. And I said, is that true? Because that's what I've been telling people. And he said, well, that's part of it. But there's another part to that answer that I didn't know about. And you're going to go, oh, okay, when you hear it. We talked about the beavers. and that whole thing. And apparently he was aware that there is a Team Beaver and Team Mozart T-shirt out there because I mentioned it, and he started smiling before I finished the sentence, and he said, "I know." And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think you're going to like him. He was a really nice guy, very friendly guy, and we'll let him explain why he's kind of been Oz for a while, why he's been, this mystery man. Aloof or seemingly aloof. And I think that you will find his answer to be very reasonable.
Just in the comments,
Yeah.
Josh has a fantastic point. I didn't even put two and two together. The Addressing Gettysburg Book Club has a live interview with the author that same evening.
We will most likely be finished by the time book club starts. Book club starts at what, 7:30 or 8:30?
8:30.
We'll be done. Well, it's not going to take more than an hour and a half.
Cool.
And if it does, you can just listen to whatever you miss when you leave for book club. Yeah, but I am aware of book club. I wasn't aware of it when we booked it. Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, I wasn't aware of it when we booked Steve, but who was it? Casey Turbin reminded me that it is book club too, and Bill Stiple is going to be in book club.
Yeah,
talking about his Carney book, or
well, talking about we read Generals in Bronze, but I'm sure he'll talk about his Carney book because that's a big deal.
It's a big book. There, you want to grab it there. It's the one on top there, Ronnie. We could show the audience.
I'll let Mike grab it because I don't want to tip right.
You'll topple over.
According to Carney.
There you go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the size of this thing. This is a big book.
Wait, put it up to your head so they have a real.
All right, here you go. Look, a big fat head. Look, that's you. I got a big head, ladies and gentlemen, and look at the size of this book. Look how thick it is. What is it? 900 pages, I think he said.
It's like $45. That's
Yeah,
it's
like
and that's the thing.
Yeah,
it's 810 pages. And that's the other thing too. This is only $45. A lot of people would see a book like this and they're like, this is at least $150. $45. Why? Because he wanted it to be affordable so that you could get it. And there's a lot of stuff. A million words in here. And by the way, he's not paying me to push this. It's his life's work. I think he said it took him like 40 or 50 years to do it.
Yeah.
So, get a hold of that book. I think it's available now, isn't it? It's out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So get a hold of that book, and enjoy it. Enjoy it. All right. So what have we got going on today? Well, we've got, I told you about Steve Sims. That's the big news. We've got a couple of other things, small things. So what's coming up on the show, the history shows, things like that. And who knows what else, to be honest with you, because we're just flying by the seat of our pants once again, which is the beauty of this show, isn't it? Isn't it? I think it is. So we'll be right back. We'll take a quick break and, all that. We're right back.
Want to be on the show? Send an email to info@addressinggettysburg.com. Be sure to include the reason why you think you'd make a good guest when you write us.
Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah. We'll give him a hearty welcome then, hurrah.
Aw, stupid commercials.
Very family friendly. We had a wonderful time with our son.
Me and my friends were able to rent these bikes and go at our own pace, so we were able to just do what we wanted to do when we wanted to do it, and I highly recommend it to anybody else.
It seemed like the right way to go to view the wonderful sights and also get an incredible amount of history from Bob.
Our tour guide Bruce was so knowledgeable about the facts and the history of these battlefields that I came away with an understanding that was unmatched by any other means.
The breeze on the battlefield made up for the hot day.
I had a wonderful time, great trip, lots of history, wonderful bike ride, perfect weather. Could have asked for a nicer day. Highly recommend it.
If you're going to tour Gettysburg, I would recommend doing it on the bike. It's a lot of fun.
I loved it. It was awesome.
We really couldn't stump the professor with any of our questions, so we thought it was really well worth it.
It was an excellent day out and got you outside and experienced the weather. Beautiful weather out here today.
We had a lot of fun. If you're thinking about it, I'd just say give it a shot. It was awesome for us. I hope it's awesome for you guys too.
Go to gettysbike.com or call 717-752-7752 to book a battlefield experience you will never forget.
You've heard us promote various ways that you can help us keep the show going, but one way we haven't pushed too much is our sutlery at addressinggettysburg.com/shop. That's a shame because we have designs over there by talented artists like Ty DeWitt of 1863 Designs and Mike Stretch of the Heritage Depot. So now we're promoting it. Buying shirts, hoodies, mugs, and other items from our sutlery not only helps us keep the lights on, but it also helps guys like Ty and Mike, and it helps spread the word about the show every time you wear an item or you sip from your mug. So head over to addressinggettysburg.com/shop and grab some merch. It's the perfect Christmas gift for the Gettys nerd in your family. That's addressinggettysburg.com/shop.
Have you noticed our revamped website at addressinggettysburg.com? Well, that's the fine work of a man named Mike Stretch, and he also redid our logo for us. Both of them I originally designed, and both of them were originally horrible, but now they're nice, and that's all thanks to Mike. Mike has an awesome t-shirt company called Heritage Depot. There you'll find great designs based on Gettysburg and the Civil War with t-shirts and other types of merchandise. So go to heritage-depot.com and spruce up your Gettys Nerd wardrobe. That's heritage-depot.com. Our favorite bookstore in Gettysburg is For the Historian, located at 42 York Street. It's because they have the best selection of Civil War books in Gettysburg, both new and used. And online, they have even more to choose from. And if the Civil War isn't your thing, that's not a problem. This is For the Historian, after all. They cover history from the ancient world to the 21st century with a strong selection of World War II and American Revolution books. It's astounding how many thousands of titles from Osprey, Savas Beatty, UNC Press, and more they have in their store. And that's because, well, they have a warehouse too. And that's where they keep all the books that are available online at forthehistorian.com. And folks, if you go to forthehistorian.com now and order books until you're blue in the face, be sure you mention that you heard about them on Addressing Gettysburg in the Note to Seller box, and they will refund your shipping costs. And if you prefer to stop by when you're in town, well, you could do that too. Just mention Addressing Gettysburg at checkout, and they'll take 20% off the retail price of your item. So go to forthehistorian.com or stop by 42 York Street, or you can call them at 717-685-5207. That's forthehistorian.com or 717-685-5207.
From the patriots of Bunker Hill to those who embarked upon the Great Crusade at Normandy. From the blue-clad Federals at Gettysburg who gave the last full measure of devotion, to the many thousands who did the same at places like Belleau Wood, Chosin, Yadrong, and Fallujah. The American warrior is the greatest warrior the world has ever known, who, through sacrifice and dedication to the nation they served, have composed a history worthy of being remembered. Join me, Colby Sumner, to hear their story and to connect our current and future American warriors to those of our past on America, Fog of War.
You're listening to Addressing.
Was that a ghost? Nah, ghosts aren't real. You're back with Addressing Gettysburg today. Here's Matt.
I'm reading the comments. Let's see here.
Josh had a good explanation about the trimmings that were left behind. Apparently what he was told anyway.
Okay.
I read that, and I get it. But they also left the construction fence around it, so like
well, that's
that
for the
negates
yeah.
Oh yeah,
for
to
leaving
letting
brush.
people walking. Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's see here. Andy Hunt says this is by far the weirdest AG Today opening I've ever heard. What did we do in the opening?
Like the seizure. And
Talking about all that stuff. Yeah. Well, we like to bring real life into things, I guess. Much harder for the survivor to witness the death than to get an apology. Survivor guilt becomes a lifelong burden, and one cannot forgive themselves for living. Yeah.
That's a very subjective topic. Like there is not a single answer for that question.
Right.
Right. Like everybody processes that in a completely different way.
Because you were in combat, Eric.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you lost guys?
Yeah.
And do you feel guilty that you lived?
No.
Why? Do you know why?
No.
Just because that's the way it is.
I just don't.
Right. Well,
when your number's up, your number's up, man. Like there's nothing anybody can do about it.
True. It's a good point. Maybe little Jacob is right, that you're heartless. And maybe that's what it is.
That's also perfectly plausible.
No, I'm teasing.
There's a big difference between something that's out of your control, right? Like, I mean, if there's a grand screw up, like I misunderstood orders or I disregarded orders and I took guys down an alley that I shouldn't, like that's one thing.
Sure.
But if things just happen the way they happen, I mean, it's just like a car accident. I mean, you have no control over.
Sure.
If you're,
That's true. But we always replay things in our heads and go, well, what if I had done this? If I had not been looking at my phone, or if I had not been, whatever, then maybe this wouldn't have happened. And maybe that's all true. But the fact is, you were looking at your phone or whatever it is. But yeah, I can't imagine, and I hope I never experience it, but I can't imagine going through something where other people around me die and I live. Like it's gotta be weird somehow,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't either. But I'll take Tom Canavan's word for it because he's one who can certainly talk on that matter.
But like I said, that's a subjective answer.
Yeah.
Not everybody is going to give the same one.
Correct. I mean, we have two people who survived traumatic experiences where other people died, and you got two different answers. So doesn't mean one's right, doesn't mean one's wrong. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And then let's see here, Josh. The fence wasn't in that location. We left the brush, so they might decide to regulate. Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The fence and actually the trees that are there, the limbs that are there, were the pile that me and Amy made. So I don't know why they left that. Because the truck was right.
Probably didn't follow directions. You probably weren't supposed to.
Probably. I mean, that's most likely the case. But I mean, I remember when we left, everybody took a break because the truck from the chipper was full.
Yeah.
So they had to go dump it and then come back, and so that's what was remaining there. And then we had gone in the interim, and then I don't know. I guess nobody grabbed it or something.
Since we're on the topic of Devil's Den, somebody just posted in one of the Gettysburg groups. Just visiting Devil's Den as it is reopened today, and the P. Noel rock is gone.
No, it's not. I looked for it today. It's not gone. It's not gone. You just didn't look far enough. In fact, I think it's actually behind the fence, if I'm not mistaken. It's right there where it's always been.
Did they take any actual rocks out?
No.
I was going to say.
No, in fact, they put the walkway around some rocks that were there. Yeah,
cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job.
So since you killed my news story, let me say.
No. We can always get back to it.
We can, but I found this super fascinating. So prior to the rehabilitation project, there were 700 square feet of ADA compliant trail surface. This project increased that by over 200%. There's 2,200 square feet now of ADA compliant trail surface that's now there. And I think that, like, if you can open that up more to people, that's well, I think they paved a lot of that area up around the guns up top, right? And
they did.
But that was paved to begin with.
Yeah, but they paved it better. It's better than it was before.
Oh, you mean it's not crumbling?
No. I mean, it's like more level.
More level. And then on the other, like, I don't know the technical terms of these, but if you're down looking up at Devil's Den, like with your back towards the whatever plumber.
Slaughter pen.
Yeah. Is that what the water?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Plumber.
When you go around that corner, it looks like there's a lot more official trail that's actually like nice and up in there.
Yeah, there's some trails that were just dirt. Well, actually, all the trails that were dirt are now formalized. I think is the word.
Apparently, that is all ADA compliant material.
Well, now, okay, ADA compliant material.
Not the stairs and everything, but the trail surface. Right?
If I was in a wheelchair or I had somebody in a wheelchair, I'd only take them so far because there are points where you go downhill and,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be. Yeah, but yeah. And there's like, okay, so there's that one part when you go up to the top and you want to go like stand on the boulders like an idiot and get stuck in the crevices. There's that one part where there was a big drop off of the pavement. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay, so now what they've done, and I think this is cool, they didn't bring the dropped part up to the level of the pavement per se. They brought it up a little bit with pavement.
Yeah.
But there's a defined step, but it's not just this loose step. It's like sealed in with like a little retaining wall type of thing or whatever they call it. And so that's cool, but I wouldn't be taking a wheelchair there because it's a step down, But otherwise, in fact, that's what I said to Bill and Cindy because we were going around there today. And I said, well, this is great because people who couldn't go up here can now go up here.
Yeah.
It's just you got to go from the top. You can't get up the stairs.
I see what you guys are talking about around the guns now. They've definitely paved a lot more.
Yes,
than
yes.
guys,
Yeah,
All right.
it's much better. I think it's
I'll
a
be
great
honest
job.
With you, I didn't actually get out and walk around a Devil's Den because I don't care. I just drove past it.
I didn't even do that today, so.
I drove past it just to make sure it was still there. And then I left.
Be quiet.
Oh God, yeah. Well, it is a nice job, and I got to say now I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what they did at Little Round Top.
Yeah.
Because if it's in the same vein, which I believe it will be,
And
then
I would love to go back 6 months ago on
I
all
know.
those Facebook posts where everybody's like, "Oh my God, they're taking this stuff. Oh, it's so unnatural, and this is going to look horrible, and this is bad, and how can they do that?"
Oh, I know.
I would
I know.
love that. That looks slippery, and this looks bad, and that's a bad color, and oh my God, I would love for
And
those-
that was one of the things. In fact, I did an Instagram video, and so you can hear this conversation. I even said, and the good thing is this material isn't slippery. Like there's good traction on here, so when it rains, you're not going to fall. The stairs may look, or the steps may look slippery, but you could tell by walking on them once they're not. Even maybe now ice is a different story, but rain.
I'll tell you what, those stones really that used to be there, talk about slippery. They were just worn to nothing. I mean, there was just even in dry
and
weather.
they were uneven. So let's say you're an old person who can still get around, but you're a little more feeble than you used to be, and you missed, or Veronica. Say you're Veronica.
Shoot, I'm not above saying they were slick. I wouldn't. There were times when Randy Dreas would have groups and stuff out there going up in the. I'm like, no, it's
no,
cool.
no. I'm not talking about the slickness. I'm talking about how uneven.
Oh, uneven. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were uneven.
Right.
They, they weren't the same length out, and it was. Yeah, and you're right. Like a 40-year-old. I'm not very sure on my feet. I mean, I'm more sure than Mike is. But how's your ankle doing, by the way, Mike?
Doing better.
Yeah, better. Okay.
I can testify going out there. It's a lot more ankle friendly than it used to be.
In fact, I think I said that on the video.
The stamp of Mike Lent's approval. This is more
Forget
ankle friendly.
ADA compliant. It needs to be MML compliant.
But I mean, it's a sneak preview of what they're doing up there at Little Round Top.
Yeah.
And when I see it, they didn't change the sight lines. They did everything they probably could to be faithful to the landscape.
And when I was talking to
tell you what they didn't do.
Uh-oh.
They didn't mow the grass.
Oh.
Not across the street along the triangular field.
Oh, yeah.
Not the grass that still needs to grow.
Right.
The one that's been growing for quite some time by the appearance of it.
But also near the Woad Rock, where the famous scene of Woad on that rock, his little sketch pad thingy. That used to be mowed.
Yeah.
It's grass now.
Yeah.
You're commenting on that in the video.
In the video, yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
not.
so that was mowed,
That was
but
mowed,
not that whole area, just around the rock.
around the rocks,
Yeah. I think Bill was saying that the whole area down there used to be mowed, and I don't remember that.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it was.
It
the Oregon
was
Trail
even
at
in
least.
between all those
Yeah, yeah,
boulders.
yeah.
They got in there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's a thing called a weed eater.
Oh, I guess they must have whacked away.
Well, so can you shed light on that? Is the concept they're not going to do? They don't want people walking in between the boulders? Is that the idea?
I don't know. We'll have to ask Steve Sims.
We'll have to ask that on Wednesday.
7 p.m.
I'm
That's
just curious.
right.
I didn't know what that was.
7 p.m. Eastern time, Central and Mountain.
Call in. No comments.
Right, no comments. Call in. Let's practice with that. The number, ladies and gentlemen, write it down: 717-420-1978. That's the number that you're going to call next week. And we want you to call and talk to Steve. But yeah, I don't. That specifically, I don't have an answer to. But I can tell you that remember when for anybody that's worried, because a while ago there was a plan circulating that showed bathrooms at the corner of Wheatfield Road and Sykes and Sedgwick, and those god awful platforms and everything, and everybody was all worried that they were going to turn it into like a spaceship looking thing. That was never going to be. That was a proposal, and Sims said that they saw that and said, no, we're not doing that. Because, first of all, they don't have enough staff to man everything they have already. Why are they going to build a facility now with plumbing and everything like that? Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer. I was actually looking forward to that about the little round top.
The bathrooms?
Project. Yeah.
Well, I hope they put the porta-johns back. The
idea that I understood was the Round Top Schoolhouse was going to get turned into a comfort station, which made perfect sense to me.
That would be nice, but the plan, I believe, because I've seen it, and if I'm going from my memory, which is not always great, but I believe that the plan showed a new building in the gravel lot. And that,
I never saw that.
It was supposed to be like bathroom and like a little visitor center, kind of like what they did at Manassas.
What do they call that? The environmental impact survey showed the little Round Top Schoolhouse being used for additional parking, like around the building, and the building itself was going to get turned into a comfort station.
Well, that might have been
perfect sense.
That might have been a different. Because there were more than one out floating around out there.
That is the environmental impact survey, the only one. It's 93 pages.
Oh, this wasn't a proposal. This was the survey. Okay, got it. But yeah, now he didn't say anything about the schoolhouse, but a new building there is not going to happen. There are no, platforms to view. There will be some post and rail around the paths, and that he said was actually code that they have to do it. But not all the paths, just certain parts of the paths. But we got another 2 years before that's going to be available, so we'll give it time and see.
Here's my fear, right? I would love to post on my social media, for example, like this event coming up, and have people that might not always necessarily listen in, be like, wow, look at Addressing Gettysburg. Matt landed an opportunity to ask, superintendent questions, things like that. But at the same time, I'm hesitant to do that because I don't want somebody that has all these ideas about these conspiracy theories that the park's, just being totally run into the ground to call in and be a total jerk to him and not even be a regular listener, I don't.
Well, I'm
a little on the fence about what to do.
I said to him, I can go to my subscribers, to my patrons, and say, here's what we're doing. I want you guys to call in with your questions and only leave it to them and not take calls from other people. Or I could submit the questions that they want to ask to you first. Yeah. And he goes, you don't need to do that. He goes, it's fine. He's like, I can take it. Now, that's not an invitation.
The patrons are going to be awesome.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
I mean, I know our actual group of people, but you have friends that maybe they're aware of Addressing Gettysburg. They might not be like loyal followers or something like that, but they might be part of, and I'm not saying this specifically, but for an example, Gettysburg Past and Present, right? Like,
okay.
Just a different website or something, or a different Facebook group that might see this and be like, oh, well, that's going to be my opportunity. And then they're going to I don't want him to get the wrong impression and burn that bridge on the very first opportunity.
Well, I told him, I said, I'm not into ambushing people.
Yeah.
I'm not a gotcha kind of guy.
Yeah.
I want to make friends with as many people as I can. And so, that's where I'm coming from. I can't control what someone does if they call in, but I can certainly lambaste them for doing it if that's the case. Because you're right. That could. I don't think he would blame us for that.
Well, I hope not. Okay.
Yeah, I think, and if it did happen, I would jump right on the person and make it all about what an asshole they are. So it's like, and you can certainly call in and have a question that maybe is a little critical in tone, or not sunshine and rainbows. It's all how you deliver it and how respectful and polite you are, and that's all. So just be a fucking adult and I mean, that's the thing is it's not going to be kids calling in. It's going to be adults calling in.
Right.
So act like a goddamn adult.
But you see some of the comments. And
I
stuff and
see,
some of the
but you know what?
ridiculous, like, you know.
But those are like beer muscles, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People, they're very
behind a-
brave behind a keyboard.
Yeah, but on a phone too, when they're, for all intents and purposes,
No.
anonymous.
Because no, you know why? Because their voice can be heard and they can hear the other person's reaction. So it's a little harder. Not as difficult as doing it face to face.
You know, maybe I'm overthinking this. I just don't. It's not like a completely public forum where like he's just hosting something at the auditorium and anybody can walk through. It's being hosted by you,
Yeah.
and you know, Addressing Gettysburg's out there, and I just don't want him to, rightfully or wrongfully, associate this listener base and this group of extended family as being, you know, if it's not just limited to us, which I don't want to do. I want this.
Right.
That's an awesome opportunity to expose him to the citizenry, right? If we're not doing like open houses anymore or ask a superintendent or, you know, kind of evenings or whatever, this seems like the closest thing we're going to get to it, at least right now.
Yep.
So I don't want to waste that opportunity, but I also don't want him to be like, Jesus, those AG people were assholes. Like, I don't, like, I don't.
Yeah, I
know.
don't think he would. I don't think he would do that. I mean, based on our conversation today, I tried to make it very clear. You know, it would be live. It would be call in. So that means God knows what's going to come our way.
Yeah.
But my intention is not to put you in an uncomfortable position, not to ambush you with anything. I just want to give people answers. And I want answers myself. Like, I just want to know. I like to know what's going on because I get so many emails from people saying, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? And I really don't know what to tell them. And I'll this is what a nice guy was. He gave me his number and he goes, if you have any questions, shoot me a text. And then I'm like, great, that's even better. And I said, you know what I'd love to do? I said, I'll you know, I sell advertising on the show, but the Park Service gets a free slot. If you have any public service announcements that you want, you just send it to me and I'll record it and I'll put it in my commercial breaks. Yeah. I'm not going to charge you anything like that because you know, it's Park Service. They're not for-profit business. And that's pretty standard actually in radio is that government gets free airtime, you know, for public service announcements. But anyway, so, you know, do something like that. And
awesome.
yeah. So, and he said, you know what I'll do is I'll put you in touch with our PR guy and, you know, then you can coordinate through there. So he wants to get to know the community. He wants the community. And when I say the community, I mean the public.
Yeah.
To get to know him, to get to know what he's about, and he wants to hear from them as well. And I do believe that wasn't lip service. I believe he really meant that. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to it. And I'll let him explain why only now why it seems like only now he's interested in that.
Yeah.
It wasn't only now, but it may seem that way to people, and he'll explain that. We'll get into that when he comes on. I don't want to give it all away because then there's no point in watching.
No.
You know?
Oh, I think that's kind of, I mean, he can't, in fairness to him, he kind of came in around COVID, right?
He did.
So, I mean,
2020.
it's hard to have,
yeah.
you know, anyway, yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm excited about the event. I'm excited about the opportunity. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I knew that took some background work, so.
I have to thank my neighbor, former neighbor, but we still see each other once in a while. Lauren Jean, she works with him, and she was the one who brokered it. We've talked, like, you know, she'll ride her bike with the kids around the neighborhood and stop by if I'm out on the porch every once in a while. And so for the last 6 months when we've had these encounters, she would say, you know, have you emailed Steve yet about meeting with you? And I go, well, what would he want to meet with me for? And that was before the whole cornhole thing. Yeah. And then after the cornhole thing, she asked me, and I go, I'm pretty sure we're persona non grata at the park now. And she goes, no, I don't think that's the case. She's like, you know, you have the right to criticize. And I go, well, I have the right to criticize, but you guys also have the right to not deal with me.
Yeah.
You know. And she's like, no, he's not that way. Like, you really would like him. And I said, well, set something up then. And she did.
Oh, awesome.
And so I went, and I'm very glad she did. So I got to thank her for that. And I thank Steve for his time today. It was, you know, it was early in the morning.
Well, this is going to be late at night, too. This can't possibly be the scope of his hours, I would assume, 7 p.m. Like, so that's really nice of him.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, originally we were looking for during hours time, but then I said, oh, you know what? No one's going to be able to watch it because everybody will be at work. Yeah. So we got to do it like 7 o'clock. Yeah. And he goes, oh, okay. Like, no problem.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, I think you're all going to like it. No other entity that does videos or podcasts in this area has gotten him. So,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Did you? All right.
What?
Uh-oh.
So I have not been paying attention because I'm arguing with a man whether or not a boulder that he took a picture of today is actually where it is.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus Christ. Are you so there's
you
conspiracy?
saw the P. Noel carving?
Yes, I looked for it because when I first went up there, I saw that because by the way, the pavement is a little different, mostly the same, but a little different than it was before. And the fence is still up there. And so I just had to reorient myself. And the first thing I did was think that they paved over the P. Noel rock. And I go, oh my God, they paved over P. And then I said, oh no, they didn't. It's right there. And I went and I looked.
We got to wrap this up before it gets dark because I need to go take a picture of this.
Well, you got a flash.
Squash
they're
this
closed.
nonsense.
Oh, that's right. It's closed. Oh, that's one thing I did say to him. I said, you know what broke my heart? And he goes, what? And I go, when you changed the hours. He goes, really? And I said, yeah, broke my heart. He goes, why? And I said, you got to understand something. People love this place. You know, we have a love affair with the ground. It's weird. I don't get it, but that's the fact. And I love going out there at night. There's something magical about it. It's dark. It's quiet. You can kind of commune with the spirits if you believe in that crap, or you can just look at the stars, which is really what I like to do. And I said, I mean, at least during the summer, it would be nice to go till 10 o'clock like we used to. And I said, I don't intend to vandalize anything. I don't want to catch ghosts. I just want to enjoy the beauty of the place. And I said, in fact, if I saw somebody vandalizing or trying to catch ghosts, I'd probably beat them up. Or I'd at least hire somebody to beat them up. And, yeah, I mean, and I said, and most people that want to go out there are that way. And he kind of like sat and he thought for a second and he goes, well, maybe there's something we can do. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. So he's not, I think people have the wrong idea. And I think, it makes sense why they do. I had the wrong idea too. And I said that to him. I'm like, I don't like having the wrong idea about people I don't know.
Yeah.
So this is why I want to do this. So anyway, I think we've beaten this dead horse enough.
You guys pay full price at the car dealership every time, don't you?
No, that I don't do. I was very proud of how I negotiated Grayson out there down. I would have been paying almost $150 more a month if I didn't negotiate the way I did. I'm from New Jersey, We like to haggle.
I know a lot of people from New Jersey now.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You're related to a lot of people from New Jersey now.
Well, not by blood.
By marriage, which is
not the same.
Well, still got to deal with them. All right, what else have we got going on here, ladies and gentlemen? By the way, if you want to call, tell us what you think about Steve Sims coming on, which I'm sure you're going to like it. Give us a call, 717-420-1978. All right. Let's see. You know what? Let's do this. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with the news and some upcoming events and things like that. Also, people that are going to be on the show in the coming months. Lots of stuff. The summer is over. People have time again, and we are going to take advantage of that. And we're going to do a lot of recording, and I'm looking forward to that because I like doing it. I recorded a show last night with Bob Steenstra, our old buddy, called Spotlight on Bob Steenstra.
Cool.
And that's one of many. That's the first of many that we're going to do that are these spotlight on things. And I don't know. I think you'll like it. But anyway, take a quick break. We'll be right back. God save the Queen.
Amen.
And rest her soul.
Now would be a good time to get up and stretch. Blood clots are deadly. We'll be back.
What seems to be the officer problem?
I'm gonna be homeschooled and leave all the pain and suffering of public school behind me. Screw you guys. I'm gonna be homeschooled.
Ever wanted to be a part of a movie production? Well, now is your chance. Hope Kelly is still struggling with heartache several years after her abrupt, life-changing decision to buy an apple farm outside the small town of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. But the loneliness of isolation gradually replaced the peace she initially found on the farm. Sent reeling when her fiancé left her for another woman before a previous Christmas, Hope has sworn off Christmas and relationships. But when her brother Ryan's old army buddy Nick shows up to the farm and is immediately taken with Hope, the temperature starts to rise. Still, it will take a Christmas miracle in the form of Charlie to help mend Hope's heart and allow her to trust again and find love. Join writer, producer, and director Bo Brinkman in the production of A Gettysburg Christmas with named talents like Jake Busey and Lee Majors. The script has tailored scenes to shoot at specific locations to highlight the beauty, history, and capture the Christmas spirit of Gettysburg with the goal of inspiring viewers to visit in droves. Those of you who have been wanting another movie to revitalize interest in visiting our awesome town have finally gotten your wish. And now you can be a part of getting this project off the ground. Bo and company are turning to you, the citizens of Gettysburg and the lovers of Gettysburg, to make this grassroots effort work. No Hollywood BS, just pure Christmas joy and romance. Just click the link in the show notes to get started or go to GoFundMe.com and search for A Gettysburg Christmas.
You've heard us promote various ways that you can help us keep the show going, but one way we haven't pushed too much is our sutlery at addressinggettysburg.com/shop. That's a shame because we have designs over there by talented artists like Ty DeWitt of 1863 Designs and Mike Stretch of the Heritage Depot. So now we're promoting it. Buying shirts, hoodies, mugs, and other items from our sutlery not only helps us keep the lights on, but it also helps guys like Ty and Mike, and it helps spread the word about the show every time you wear an item or you sip from your mug. So head over to addressinggettysburg.com/shop and grab some merch. It's the perfect Christmas gift for the Gettys nerd in your family. That's addressinggettysburg.com/shop.
Our favorite bookstore in Gettysburg is For the Historian, located at 42 York Street. Isn't it, Eric?
You're darn tootin', Matt.
It's because they have the best selection of Civil War books in Gettysburg, both new and used, and online they have even more books to choose from.
But Matthew, what if the Civil War is simply not my thing?
Not a problem, my fine four-fendered friend. This is For the Historian, after all. They cover history from the ancient world to the 21st century with a strong selection of World War II and American Revolution books.
It's astounding how they squeeze thousands of titles from Osprey, Savas Beatty, UNC Press, and more into their store.
And it's also astounding how you and I both squeeze into our pants every day. Well, handsome, they have a warehouse too, and that's where they keep all those books that are available online at forthehistorian.com. And folks, if you go to forthehistorian.com now and order books until you're blue in the face, be sure you mention that you heard about them on Addressing Gettysburg in the Note to Seller box, and they will refund your shipping costs.
What if I prefer to browse in the store and don't want to go online to get my book?
Great question, Doodlebug. Just mention Addressing Gettysburg at checkout, and they'll take 20% off the retail price of your item. So go to forthehistorian.com, stop by 42 York Street, or call 717-685-5207. That's forthehistorian.com or 717-685-5207.
Need a Corps badge or other insignia for your uniform? Then check out the Badge Maker. Here's what some of his satisfied customers had to say. Miranda said, "I ordered an identification disc from Joe and it's fantastic. He hand stamped it exactly as I wanted. It has a great rough on-campaign feel to it and was reasonably priced to boot." Greg said, "My unit has purchased from him in the past. Quality badges and good service." And Jerry S. says, "The Badge Maker is the go-to place for accurate replica Civil War badges. Visit CivilWarCorpsBadges.com and attach a message with your order saying you heard about him on Addressing Gettysburg."
Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Gettysburg's premier museum, is housed in the historic Lutheran Seminary building constructed in 1832, a witness to the first day of battle. The museum's 3 floors of exhibits connect visitors to the dilemmas that led to the Civil War, provide a powerful and personal view of the battle's first day, and explore one of the battlefield's largest hospitals. No visit to Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center is complete without a guided tour of the building's famous cupola, where on the eve of battle, officers and civilians saw thousands of Confederate soldiers' campfires burning to the west, and Brigadier General John Buford watched for vital federal reinforcements as fighting erupted on the morning of July 1st. Today, you can stand where Buford stood and discover how this view helped chart the course of the Battle of Gettysburg. Your trip to Gettysburg is not complete without a serious visit to Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Gettysburg's premier museum. Purchase tickets online at seminaryridgemuseum.org or call 717-339-1300. To get tickets or a cupola tour, listeners may call or walk in and mention addressing Gettysburg, or by ordering online using the promo code AG1863 for 20% off. Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center. It began here.
There's a devil to pay.
This special episode of Addressing Gettysburg is brought to you in part by me, audiobook narrator Mike Scott, narrator of Savis Beattie's Bloody Autumn, the Shenandoah Valley Campaign of 1864, and Unlike Anything That Ever Floated, the Monitor and Virginia and the Battle of Hampton Roads.
Nice.
If you are an author or publisher interested in having your titles produced as audiobooks, or even just in learning more about the process, give me a shout. You can find my contact info on my website, MikeScottVoice.com. That's MikeScottVoice.com. Hey, historian, author, and licensed battlefield guide Tim Smith. Matt gave me a full minute, so let me ask you an important question. Isn't it about time that John Burns' Hero of Gettysburg became an audiobook? Sickles has an audiobook. You know Jenny Wade is going to deserve an audiobook. Let's give John a shot. Get in touch, Tim. It's MikeScottVoice.com. I'm Mike Scott, your voice of history.
And Civil War Trails. It's the world's largest open-air museum, and they offer over 1,300 sites across 6 states. Drive the Gettysburg campaign turn by turn, paddle to Frederick Douglass's birthplace, or hike to remote earthworks and artillery positions. Visit civilwartrails.org to request a brochure and explore their interactive map. Follow Civil War Trails and create some history of your own. Hey, Gettysburg business owners. Winter is just around the bend, and you know what that means. No tourists. But just because people aren't coming to you doesn't mean you can't bring your business to them. If you ship, you're still in the game. And if you're a seasonal business, the time to advertise for your next season is in the off-season when people are making their plans. So what's an affordable yet highly effective way of reaching those people? Well, it's not radio. It's not TV, and it's certainly not print. Step out of the Jurassic era of advertising and run an ad on Addressing Gettysburg. We just reached 1 million downloads, and we're growing by the tens of thousands every month. Beyond that, our audience is happy to support those who support their favorite podcast. So email sales@addressinggettysburg for more information about advertising on our show. We look forward to helping your business grow. That's sales@addressinggettysburg.com.
You're listening to the Addressing Gettysburg podcast with Matt Callery.
You're back with Cam's Idol.
That was years ago.
Here's Matt.
Right when we took the break, I looked up and I read Andy Hunt's comment, and it cracked me up. And at first I didn't get what he was saying, but now I got, "Hey, Jim and Eric, this is Matt. Was wondering when your interview with the superintendent was." "Oh, you don't have one? AG rules." I would never do that. I wasn't gloating or anything like that when I said that nobody else is doing this. There's other people involved in that whole thing too. It's not just, I'm not talking about Jim and Eric, but that's the type.
It was clever. It was
yeah, it was very clever. It was funny. But that is the type of show that we're doing, though. Like, we're trying to be more of a community show with the history, actually a history show with the community thing involved as well. And so that's what that is there. And so, of course, these other people aren't going to do that because they're focusing just on history. Oh, God. Let's see. Did anybody get into that?
Sweet Jesus, there's another one.
There's another one? What? All right, so wait, let me give it a little backstory here. So, all right,
not about P. Noel.
Oh, it's not about, but it's another stupid. Okay, wait, before So P. Noel, everybody knows the rock carving on Devil's Den, P. Noel, right?
Yeah, Satan did it.
This guy, right, right. It was carved with the fires of hell.
Yeah.
So somebody on Gettysburg Past and Present, you say, was saying that they paved over the rock with P. Noel on it. And we were saying before, no, they didn't, because, I saw it. I thought that too until I went looking for it, and I saw it there, okay? So while we were on break, the exchange was, going back and forth or something like that, and we were reading it and everything.
He was insistent that it was gone. He has literally no reason to lie about.
He had no reason to lie. And so Eric's like, we have to end this show soon so I can go down there before it gets dark and take a picture. And so Mike Lentz volunteered. You want me to go? I said, yeah, go. Send it to Eric as soon as you get it so that Eric can transfer it to the computer and we can show the audience that P. Noel is there and answer that question once and for all. Because someone else is going to probably make that mistake.
There were already comments. Oh, how like with the shocked face emoji and all kind. People were already like
rabble.
God, Jesus. It hurts my soul sometimes. I really, honestly, I avoid most of the Gettysburg groups most of the time because some of the
because critical thinking is outlawed in most of them.
It pains me.
It is so bad.
And then my wife gets not angry, but confused as to why I go on there and subject myself to arguments with people that are clearly not going to listen to anything I have to say.
Right. It's funny because it's true. Women are much better at, avoiding things that bug them, whereas men are just we look for things that bug us and then we get all bugged. And then they're like, well, why are you looking at it? We're like, I don't know, it just fucking bugs me.
I end up having to cloister myself in my shop in the basement and listening to a cappella sea shanties and just furiously cutting leather. That's what I do.
Oh, God, I wish I could peek in the window when you're doing that.
You can, actually. Yeah, there's two windows.
Let me know next time when you're working on something.
But this one, does anyone know why most of the roads are blocked off? What the fuck are you talking about? Apparently the ones in Gettysburg.
Because they're well, that's part of the news.
One road that's closed off and it's off the square, Carlisle Street, for a block. For a block
in downtown.
That's it, but one road.
See, this one doesn't specify.
Maybe that's what they're talking about.
Maybe they're talking about Little Round Top.
About the battlefield, in which case most of the roads are not, in fact, closed.
Is that also a history site or just?
Yeah.
Okay. Just curious.
History in quotations.
It's the real history guy.
You need to learn real history.
I love that. I love that argument.
Oh, me too. The real history argument.
You should read the real history.
Yeah, I know.
Written by whom?
Yeah.
Sorry.
By the way, this segment is brought to you by Von Dedham & Co., makers of fine and creative leather goods, from their trademark Atlas bag, designed to carry the Leno book on the battlefield, to their wallets and keychains. Von Dedham & Co. is committed to making the finest leather goods around. You know how I know? Because they can't make a bad product if they tried. That's true. It's true. Talent and craftsmanship are what set Von Dedham & Co. apart from other Leathermen in the Civil War community. Contact them at vondedhamandco.com or at gmail.com. That's Von Dedham, VONDETTUMAND, the word and co at gmail.com.
We craft it with hate in our hearts and furiously in the basement in the middle of
and
the
sea
night.
shanties in our ears. Some upcoming things here in October. Well, first of all, don't forget October 8th, what would you call it? Appearance? It sounds so obnoxious to say appearance, but
Ticket event.
Yes, it's a conversation with Matt Callery of Addressing Gettysburg over at the Andrew Carnegie. Now, Ronnie, you say Carnegie, but the rest of the world says Carnegie. What's the right way to say it? Is that the Pittsburgh way?
Andrew
Carnegie. Okay,
Carnegie
so we're going to when in Rome. When in Rome.
Yep.
Andrew Carnegie Free Library and Music Hall and the Captain Thomas SBGAR Post 153. You go to Facebook, you look up, let's see, what is the, oh shit, I just have the event here and I don't know what the, anyway, Google it. It's just Google Matt Callery and Captain Thomas SBGAR Post 153 and it will come up. It's the 8th, 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., but we all know I'm long-winded, so it'll probably go to 2:31. And hope to see all of our Pittsburgh listeners out there as much as possible. It'll be really nice to meet you all in your hometown. And well, we should have a lot of fun because you know why? History is not boring, ladies and gentlemen. Also, scheduled to appear on the show, we'll be recording these shows in the month of October. Caroline Janey, Jim Broomall, Bob Steenstra, Sue Boardman, Deb Novotny, Jesse Wiedelton, Charlie Fennell, Kent Masterson Brown, Scott Hartwig, and many more. Many more. Also, patrons, this is just for you guys, patrons. We're still working on the Christmas party at the Farnsworth house. We're getting closer. Major Cindy Etzkorn is, Major. She's in charge of that because she's the head of the party planning committee. And so she is in negotiations about that, and we will give you details as soon as we know. But in the meantime, save the date, okay? Patrons, we love you. Save the date. We're trying to make it free for you, but we don't know yet.
Save what date?
I'm about to tell you.
Oh.
Jesus.
I'm super serious. Give the tell us the
December
date.
10th.
Oh.
Oh, what? Now, what are you doing on September? Jesus.
I know what she's not doing.
No, if the fireplace is going or whatever, if it's going to be warm. And
It'll be warm. It'll be
in
warm.
the evening.
It'll be warm with love because we all love each other.
I'm just kidding.
Yes, just save that date for now and await further notice. And also, ladies and gentlemen, a night at the museum. Addressing Gettysburg and the Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center present a night at the museum, January 28th. This is going to be another in-person show with Cody Aish, Pete Mealy, and maybe Rob Williams. I don't think he didn't seem too interested in doing it, but we might have another one of the guides from the seminary on the show there. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have exclusive free reign of the museum. And also that includes, ladies and gentlemen, the cupola.
Wow.
And it's very cool to go up to the cupola during the day, but it's even cooler at night because you see all the lights of the different towns in the area and it illuminates. Have you been up there?
Not at night. No,
Not at night. Eric and I were up there last year during that 24-hour thing.
Yeah.
And it was pretty neat.
Yeah,
it was
we
cold.
were there overnight.
Yeah.
I was there for a while. I had to work on Friday morning. It was like a Thursday night or
Work.
something. Yeah, I know.
What's work? Yeah, it was a Thursday.
It was
yeah.
during the week. It sucked.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, it didn't suck. It sucked for you because you couldn't
right.
go.
Well,
yeah.
that's. I mean, it's all about me, so I don't know what other context you would be. I don't understand what the problem is.
But patrons, you're going to get early access to the tickets and you're going to get a discount. That's something we're starting in 2023. Patrons get, well, they've always gotten early access to things, but now you're going to get early access and a discount. As I explained to you on the latest State of the Show that came out this week. So yeah, that is all the stuff that I have to update you guys on there with that. Oh shit, I didn't do it right. God.
You doing news or events first?
She's the gal who knows what's going on, so take notes. There's a test at the end. Here's AG Today's lead anchor, Veronica Brestensky, with news, traffic, weather, sidewalk conditions, and what's happening this weekend.
I must have all possible information. If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun.
That is so lame.
Okay. All right, Cartman. Okay, Cartman, relax. Okay, there it goes. Ronnie Ronstadt, you've got the news. You are the woman who has your finger on the pulse of people having seizures at blackjack tables and
poker.
At poker tables.
He listens well.
You love the poker, don't you?
I do.
Can't read math. No, he can't read math. Poker face. She's got me like nobody.
All right, so what's in the news?
Why we keep getting like copyright infringement?
No, these are okay. I cleared them, so we're fine.
So we already touched on the Devil's Den rehabilitation project, mainly being over. There's a little portion of it that's still fenced in to try to help the growth continue, the wildlife or the natural grasses or whatever they're calling them. But something we didn't touch upon is a follow-up to a story that we had been following. As a matter of fact, Pete Carmichael came on the show to talk about the proposed building of a 112-unit apartment complex up by the old country club right along Route 30. And the township supervisors on Tuesday of this week voted 3-2 against accepting the preliminary plan to develop that particular site.
Good.
Now, the fight is not over. The two supervisors that did vote in favor of the plan actually were saying that they didn't necessarily support the plan itself. However, state law, in their opinion, requires that the township has to allow basically permits that fall within compliance of the township ordinances. And they said this did because of the number of units and things like that. So they're afraid of appeals and costly legal expenses going forward if the proposed developer continues to fight it. And that's why they claim to the local media that they did support the project. So it's not over, but preliminarily 3-2 against any project there for the multi-unit development.
The township is worried about fees for appeals and all that stuff, or the developers?
No.
The township.
No, the township, the two supervisors that did vote in favor of the project were asked after the meeting, or even during the meeting, I guess they made comments basically saying, look, we're not necessarily in favor of this. We don't necessarily want to see this happen. However, the law mandates that if a proposal falls within our ordinances, we can't just say no. We can't. So they're saying that the ordinances, I think, don't quote me on this, but it was 112 unit proposed, and it's something like that particular area of land can hold, I think, 185 units. So this is lesser than what would be like maximum under the ordinances and things like that. And there was nothing that necessarily outright on paper should have resulted in disqualifying this project. So that's what they're afraid of. Is the
let me remind the good people of Cumberland Township that not too long ago, in our very recent memory, there was a fellow who wanted to put a casino in the area twice. And both times he was defeated. He wasn't able to do it. He didn't get the license to put it here. And a lot of that, I think, the board decided no, because of the local outcry, which was mostly, by the way, what they call AstroTurf. What do they call it? AstroTurf. It's not grassroots, but it's like AstroTurf.
Oh.
In other words, it was fake. It wasn't a majority of the locals against the casino. Most people were for it because it would bring jobs all year long, which this area desperately needs. It was a bunch of NIMBYs who retired here thinking they were going to have a quiet little corner of the world, and they didn't want it disturbed by people from Baltimore. And that's a dog whistle, folks. Yeah. And so it won. So my point is, just because it's legal, the guy there was nothing illegal about what he was proposing.
Was there a catch?
Everything? No, it wasn't a zoning issue. No, it wasn't any of that. In fact, no, it wasn't any of that stuff. Who knows what the real reason was?
Right.
But one of the reasons that the board stated was local opposition.
Yeah.
So my point is,
that might have been a gaming commission thing.
It was a gaming commission.
Well, then that's a little bit different than township supervisors allowing a proposed building.
But that's not the point.
Township.
My point is, you still have the power to say, no, you can't build this in my backyard.
Here's the counterpoint, though. Literally right across the street, there is an apartment building.
And that was a mistake. But because there were mistakes before, doesn't mean we should make them again.
So I'm going to
And water
side with,
is an issue.
I'm going to side with, it's an issue now because they said no to the water tank.
Exactly.
Right? So where do you draw the line? Right? Like, at what point do you say, okay, this is the line of demarcation. Beyond this line, it doesn't really matter what you build. So where are we going to draw that line? Right?
Maryland. Put it in Maryland. Put it in Maryland. Make people move there.
Okay. So I mean,
come on. I'm not serious. I mean, I'm sort of serious.
I mean, it still has to be a functional community. People still live here. Like 114,000 people live in this county.
Right.
And people will complain about the tax base and things like that. Well, if you can't have, if there's no housing, you're not going to get the tax base.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. I get it. I mean, there's so much. It'd be one thing if it was totally empty farmland from the first shot marker the whole way in.
Sure.
But it's not. It's not even close.
There's
a physical therapy
I think what the
place
problem
there. There's
is,
a nursing home
yeah.
there. There's an
And
apartment building right across.
There are buildings on that property currently.
Right. There's already a pool and tennis courts.
They're
and
just
everything
talking about putting different buildings on that same property.
I think, speaking for myself, I find those to be repugnant and revulsive. Is that the word I'm looking for? Revolting. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I don't think they should have been there in the first place. And I think just because previous generations have failed at preserving the historical integrity of the area doesn't mean we have to continue the failures.
So, let's continue on that line.
All right.
What are you going to do if it gets shot down, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody buys the property and they want to have it, they want to get it restored and preserved, right? Assuming that happens,
right?
Which is unlikely.
Very.
Let's be honest.
Yep.
What do you do with it? Let's be fair. On that exact same property, that property was split in the sale. Mm-hmm. The actual golf course itself, the 9-hole course, ended up with the Park Service.
Right.
The buildings got sold off, is what it is. What is being done with the portion of that property that the Park Service already has?
They mow along the golf cart paths.
Exactly. And that's my point.
Yeah.
The golf cart paths are still in place.
All right.
That's not historically
Well,
accurate.
but the park has
no
paths and
parking out
roads.
there. There's no interpretation that's being done out
No
there.
monuments.
It's empty.
Right.
Well,
that's a good question. That's a good question for people to call in on Wednesday.
At what point does yet cease to be, and it's now, like it's happening now?
It doesn't matter if they preserve it and let's say they turn it over to the park or the trust owns it or something like that, then it can sit there
and that's all
just
well and good.
grow weeds forever if it wanted to.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, but I mean, we got enough people in the area. I don't think we need enough. I'm here. I got in now. Everybody else can't come in. Shut the door behind me.
But if you're gonna go that route,
yes,
you kind of surrender your right to bitch about things not being convenient here.
Oh, wait.
Because let's be fair.
Yeah. Well, an apartment
they're
is
not really convenient here.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
Unless you need to get something from Giant, which is fantastic.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You want drive-through. Or you need to get something from one of the last remaining regular Walmarts on the face of the planet.
Right, which they wouldn't let expand into
or
a super.
Sheets.
Yeah.
You're shit out of luck.
Yeah.
And it's not like you have an option even within the county.
Right.
You have to leave the county.
You got to go to Chambersburg or Hanover.
Or Hanover or Carlisle or down to Frederick.
Right. Hey, that's the price to pay for living here.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But like the convenience, you don't get to piss and moan about that.
First of all, putting apartments there, Eric.
You
Putting
don't get to
apartments there.
complain about high property prices. You don't get to complain about high property tax.
First of all, we're Americans. We can complain about everything.
Sure.
But secondly, putting apartments there isn't going to add the convenience. It's going to add to inconvenience because it's more people. You're going to have to put a light in somewhere down there because it's more traffic. It's going to make
There's
things.
already lights all around there.
Yeah, but you're going to need more to get out of that, to get in and out of that complex. It's going to be a nightmare.
We're not talking about building a 60-story apartment complex. We're talking about 121 units.
112 units with how many people?
That's not
at
that
least
many more.
At least, well, not at least 2, but possibly 2 per unit, probably more if they have kids and stuff. If those kids drive, then you got more cars on the road.
Okay.
It's more. It's not a convenience. It's a convenience for those people, but they're not here yet.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're going to add like a super Walmart out there.
Yeah.
I'm saying that to make that argument then removes the possibility of anybody else doing the same thing within that township or surrounding townships.
Right. Okay. Tom Young says, let's not put it in Maryland. So I guess he's down in Maryland there. And Andy Hunt had a great name for Mike. Everybody was concerned that Mike was going to get hurt, or they thought I was going to say that he got hurt. And Andy Hunt came up with a great name for Mike, Six Bruises Lentz. I'm sure Mike won't like that, but let's see. We have, who's this? Rue McClanahan's grandson on the phone?
You got the Trumpinator.
The what?
You got Donald J. Trump.
Oh my God! It's Mr. President. Mr. President, hello, Mr. President. Veronica's a big fan of yours. Say hello to Veronica.
Well, hey, Veronica, great to see you again. Last time I saw you was January 6th. Great to see you without the bullhorn and the American flag and the megaphone. Great to see
directing people away from the Capitol. It's good to see you too.
I appreciate that. Exactly right. Wink, wink, nod, nod. I got you.
Last time I saw you, you were holding the Bible upside down outside of the church. So it's good to hear from you, Mr. President.
It's because this country is upside down, Veronica. You would understand that. Obviously, I'm looking for some legal counsel, by the way, Veronica. So call me offline once we wrap this up, and let's discuss.
Wow, Mr. President, it's such an honor.
Casino.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, listen, it's an honor to be on here with you. Yes, so I heard about this discussion of the casino. As you know, I'm a very important man, very successful businessman. I know a little bit about casinos. I think Gettysburg would be a great place for a casino. No one loves history. No one loves gaming more than me. A great combination, gaming and history. I think Donald Trump is the man to come in and help with this. Also, great builder, your apartment complexes. I think I can breach this compromise in Gettysburg.
Wow. So you do know The Art of the Deal. That is the name of your book, by the way. The Art of the Deal, right?
Yes.
And
second favorite book, obviously the Bible. Nothing better than the Bible. Bible number one. But 1B, The Art of the Deal.
Well, all right. So let me ask you this then, Mr. Trump. What would the deal be that you would broker to get this thing through? How would you build these apartments?
So here's
immigrant
the idea.
labor.
All right. So the apartment. Go ahead. What were you saying, Veronica?
Immigrant labor, I think. Is that?
Immigrant labor, yes, I'm all for putting everyone to work. That's great. Building the wall. Obviously, we'll come back to that. We need to build a wall to keep Maryland out of Gettysburg, and we're going to make Maryland.
See, I can support that.
But here's my idea. Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So right now you got a beaver problem. I understand. Okay. So you've got the beavers who have turned basically part of your beautiful battlefield, love the battlefield, who have turned it into a lake. If the park's not going to use it, let Donald Trump Enterprises come in. We take care of the beavers, and we put some beautiful, very tasteful condominiums and apartment complexes in the Valley of Death. Within shot of Little Round Top, we simply call them Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain Estates. It'll be a great testimony to a great American
Be a fitting tribute.
like myself, and great place. It's within walking distance to the battlefield, a wonderful opportunity for Gettysburg College kids to go. Listen, it will be a wonderful opportunity. Win, win, win. We take care of the beavers, we help the housing, and we bring more people into the community. What do you say?
I'm beginning to see why your wife left you.
Oh, well, that's what the current president has. That's what the current president has to
Someone
say.
wake him up to make him. Who woke him up? Isn't it 5 o'clock? My God, what's he doing up this late?
For people that bad in healthcare.
Well,
oh my God,
Mr. President, I think it's a great idea. I would love to see Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain Estates there down in the Valley of Death. I think that would be just a fitting thing to put there. And you know what? I just feel so big. We have a former president on the phone. Next week, we're having the superintendent. I mean, we have made it, ladies and gentlemen. We have made it. Mr. President, is there anything else that you would like to?
Listener.
Yeah. Oh, you are?
I just want to say, long-time listener, first-time caller, Matt, you're doing a great job. You're building something special there in Gettysburg. Listen, everyone, if you're not a Patreon subscriber, listen, this guy right here, I know success. I know who's got it, who doesn't have it. Listen, if I was still doing The Apprentice, I would have Matt Calorie as my apprentice. So, Matt Calorie, addressing Gettysburg. Make it happen, everyone. Give this man your Patreon dollars. Veronica, great to see you again, as always. I will see you at the next QAnon function. Again, thank you so much for all of Veronica's support. I just want that to go on the record and be memorialized that Veronica Borinsky is a great Donald Trump supporter. She's MAGA to the max. She loves everything that I stand for.
She
So
does.
whenever you see Veronica's face, I want you to see Donald J. Trump's face. I want you to just imagine us two together.
That's amazing. And, she does have a Trump 2024 sticker on her car, by the way. Her hybrid.
I know. Hey, she was the one that was driving the getaway car out of the Capitol building on DNC for me. I mean, she was encouraging people to leave there. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Hear that, FBI? Okay, so we're good.
Well, thank you for the call, Mr. President. That was very, very kind of you to finally let us know you're a listener.
Learned about kids jumping
Onward
off
and
my lap.
upward.
I'm sorry. What was that? I hit the button by accident.
No, you're good. Onward and upward addressing Gettysburg.
Thank you.
Appreciate everything that you guys do.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. That's very kind of you. Thank you for the call.
See you all. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
See ya.
Wow, that was Donald J. Trump. Could you believe that he called in to the phone? For some reason, I thought it was Matt McClanahan. I don't know why I thought that. Okay. Oh, it looks like Mike Lentz has returned with a picture of P. Noel. Eric's getting that ready. So in the meantime, what's the next story you got there, Ronnie Stan?
No other news because we talked about Devil's Den. So just a couple of events.
Wait, there's just so the news is over and now you just have events? Is that what you're saying?
So hurry up and get the audio.
Ronnie.
we got
Live this weekend where the action is.
What's there to do and see when you're in town this weekend? Here's Valerie and Veronica to fill you in.
It's all covered.
Hey, all joking aside, where was the proposed site of the casino?
Well, there were two. One was out by Gateway Gettysburg. That was the first one. The second time was the Eisenhower.
The Eisenhower. Oh, the conference?
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think at the time it was up for sale or something like that.
Gotcha. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
So really, it wasn't like, it was like,
No, it was
Willoughby Run or something like
No.
that. Yeah, right. Okay, just curious.
No, that's my point. It was a lot further away from the view shed of anywhere on the park.
Yeah.
And where are those people? Like, people are
Going
so
down
full
to the
of
Horseshoe
shit.
Baltimore. Unfortunately,
They're
that's the
doing what?
irony. Going down to the Horseshoe Baltimore.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
They're gambling elsewhere and putting that
the
money into
here.
another
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Out
course.
of state, actually.
That was such an interesting time.
When was that going on?
Well, let's see. I moved here in 2005, and I think the first decision came in 2006. So when I moved here, it was already going on. And I was first encountered at a borough council meeting by the No Casino people. And they asked me if I would sign a petition, and they presented it to me as if it was going to be like right up on the border of the battlefield.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, that can't be. And I signed the petition. And then a friend of mine was pro casino, and they were like, no, everything they're telling you is a lie.
No.
And they're lying to tourists on the square who don't live here and who don't know and can't verify.
Yeah.
And so they're getting all these signatures. And they were getting a lot of signatures, but 90% of them were people who don't live here. It was just ridiculous what they were saying, because if you went up to the Culp's Hill Tower, I went up there with a pro casino person, and he showed me, he goes, look, we went up there at night. This is when you can go at night. We went up there at night, and he pointed out to the clump of lights that is Gateway Gettysburg and that whole area out there. He goes, that's where it's going to be. Tell me how a casino is going to ruin the view shed when that's already out there.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, you're right. And these people made it look like it was like right over the fence. It's not.
Gotcha.
And
I was just curious.
Yeah.
I wasn't here for any of that, obviously. I'm
Oh
just
man,
kinda
it was
curious.
fun. We had a good time.
Even in the city of Pittsburgh, they advocated against the casino and things, and it was right next to the sports stadium and stuff like that because it's going to increase drugs and prostitution.
No, that's what they said here. Yeah. And by the way, we have more drugs. We have prostitutes, and not only that.
Actually, ironically, rural areas with heroin and everything.
It's huge.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's no casino.
Anyway, right.
And then the other thing was that my favorite thing was like to have gambling so close to the battlefield, to this hallowed ground, is horrible, right?
Yeah.
But wait a second. On what is that? East Middle Street, right after the Culp Farm,
Okay.
VFW Hall. I used to work there.
Yeah.
Guess what people did all goddamn day? Gambled.
Sure.
Guess what's on the other side of the fence behind the VFW Hall? the national park. And by the way, the VFW hall is on Battlefield.
Historically, Little Round Top had a amusement and gaming
And a
or
brothel.
whatever. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Please.
Anyway,
and by the way,
I was just
what
curious
did the soldiers do when they would stop and have downtime? They'd gamble or go visit hookers if they could. So please spare me this
Or
sanctimony.
just go home to their apartment complexes.
Okay.
All right. So
Fair enough.
actually
Go ahead.
tonight, if you all are in town and looking for something to do in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month,
Yes.
on the square, salsa night on the square tonight.
We are going to this.
I'm going.
Yeah, I'm going with you.
All joking aside. So Carlisle Street between the square and basically the Majestic is shut down, much like they did for the Gay Pride event with dancing and stuff. There's going to be a stage, there's food, music, dancing, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where I'm getting dinner tonight.
All right.
I have voted. But anyway, if you're in town, come on out, have a little bit of fun before the storm weather's hit. I'm trying to kind of go in order here. Just a reminder that the National Park Service for the fall has restarted their campfire and battlefield walks, or continue the battlefield walks. But the campfire program, there is not one tonight, but there is one tomorrow at 6 p.m. Ranger Eva Blankenship is going to talk about civilian damage claims. So that's tomorrow. And then it'll go every, I think, Friday and Saturday through basically like late fall, early winter. So check the NPS website for that, and there's still battle walks going on. Real quick, I want to throw in my little experience here. I went on the battle walk last Saturday with Chief of Interpretation Chris Gwynn.
Oh, yeah.
And
I meant
Dr.
to
Scott
ask you, how
Hancock.
was that?
Fantastic. Totally different view of Pickett's charge. We started at the Meade Memorial, and it was not about the logistics of the attack. There was a little bit of explanation as to why, the climax of the Battle of Gettysburg was such a big deal for the Union Army. But it was in terms of, how we went from marking the monument, marking the battle here and marking the importance to the Union soldiers and where we are now with, how the battlefield is what it is now with Confederate markers and everything like that. It was a really interesting perspective.
Yeah, I would have liked to have gone to that. I
so
was
kudos
toiling.
It was awesome. Yeah, I know.
I was toiling for the American people while Ronnie was leisurely walking around.
Yeah. But it was great. So anyway, if you can get out to any of those events, go support the National Park Service Rangers. They're doing some good work.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. So that is just an ongoing reminder. Also, the reminders about, the Civil War roundtables in the area, the different events that go on in town with the Children's Museum. Bethany Yingling was here last week, and I'll just throw out the reminder that on October 9th, there is the Victorian Fashion Show and Tea Party from 3 to 5. You do have to register for that through the Gettysburg Foundation website, but that's a neat, kind of unique opportunity to have something different to experience. And then on October 14th, in conjunction with the Gettysburg Library, there's going to be the Fall Fair from 2 to 6 p.m., old-fashioned fair with music, food. That is free and open to the public. So some upcoming things just to kind of prepare for. A reminder also that the book club is going to be restarting with a new book. It's going to be Troy Harmon's newest release, All Roads Led to Gettysburg. If you want to join that's going to start in mid-October, please email Steve Byers at Addressing Gettysburg Book Club, all one word, no spaces, Addressing Gettysburg Book Club at gmail.com. Get on our book club list and get ready. And just, we talked about this briefly. Next Wednesday is Steve Sims live on the show with call-ins for questions and answers. That's at 7 o'clock. At 8:30 that same night, if you want to join the book club early, even if you weren't a member, it's open. Author Bill Stiple is going to be on answering questions about the book we just finished, Generals in Bronze, as well as talking about his new book. So just go ahead and send an email over to Steve. Once again, Addressing Gettysburg Book Club, no spaces, at gmail.com. Again, a reminder, we talked about this last week, but a reminder that this weekend and next is the National Apple Harvest Weekends up in Biglerville on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 6 and Sunday 8 a.m. to 5. Both weekends you can go on out there and have a fun fall weekend. $10 general admission, $9 for seniors and military, and children under 12 are free. And last but not least, I would like to put this out there. If you want to join me in Harper's Ferry on Wednesday, October 12th, now is the time to start planning. We are going to go out and support our buddy Cam Mallow. He is going to be doing his presentation about the Swamp Dragons and the local West Virginia militia. to the Harper's Ferry Civil War Roundtable. I could not find a website for that organization. However, they do have a Facebook presence. What it is described on Facebook is they do have a dinner prior to the lecture. So if you want to do dinner, you have to call. There's contact information. It's $20, family style. I think this month is like meatloaf and all the fixings, things like that. But the lecture is at 7 o'clock. So if you just want to attend the lecture, come on down and support Cam. It is at the Camp Hill United Methodist Church, 601 Washington Street in Harper's Ferry. So one final time, that's Wednesday, October 12th, 7 o'clock lecture, the Camp Hill United Methodist Church in Harper's Ferry. And you can find their information on their Facebook website if you just search Harper's Ferry Civil War Roundtable.
I think that's really nice that you're going to go there and see Cam. That's right, Cameron Otterson Broderson. And I would like to go, but that night I am recording the what I'm calling Ladies' Choice, Top 5 Gettysburg Books/References with Sue Boardman, Deb Novotny, and Jesse Weedleton, and I'm not able to go. And Ronnie is falling on the sword. She's taking one for the team because she would like to sit in on that conversation with the ladies, but I said, Cam keeps inviting us to these things, and I would love to have a recording of it if you, and then we could talk about it with him. And Veronica said, you know what? Since you toiled for the American people last week while I leisurely walked around the battlefield, I will toil for you now and go and do this. So October 12th, see Ronnie, hang out there, meet Cameron, support our little buddy. I'm sure it'll make him feel good. And then you can maybe call in when we parse the recording on the following week.
There you go.
There you go.
Hey, real quick, I lied. I totally forgot about this. Dr. Pete Carmichael. I am late to the party on this one, and I apologize. I did not even know this was a thing, but there is an organization he is affiliated with. He, Dr. Titus, some other scholars, Gary Gallagher, some other people that I'm not familiar with.
It's called the Civil War Institute, Ronnie.
Yeah, well, it's called Forever Scholars.
Oh.
So foreverscholars.com. There are a lot of people that are affiliated with the Civil War Institute, and the reason I know about it now is earlier this week, I received an email from the Civil War Institute reminding everyone that Dr. Carmichael is offering a class about the Civil War, and you can be a student of his for obviously no credits, but it's ongoing. It's literally a program under the foreverscholars.com. The catch is, because I'm late to the party, I dropped the ball on knowing about this. It starts this Tuesday. So it's a 5-week class. It's a live Zoom classroom, limited to 40 people. Last I saw, there were about 20-some registered, so there is still some time to get in this.
And space.
There's time and space. I'm excited about it. I just signed up last night. Now, there is a fee. It's $295, but it's every Tuesday night for the next 5 Tuesdays, 6:30 to, what did it say? I don't want to misspeak. I think it was 90 minutes. So 6:30 to 8 every Tuesday night for the next 5. It sounds like really interesting.
Yeah.
The perspective of civilians and North and South and women, et cetera, et cetera. So civilian through, Getty's, let me try again. The Civil War through the eyes of the average people is basically kind of what it is.
That sounds pretty cool, actually.
Foreverscholars.com, you can find out about that. And I think Pete's still on his sabbatical, so this must be just like a little side project he has with...
I think it's ending this semester. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
so that would coincide.
He's back. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go.
There you go. And now I'm officially done.
There you go. All right. So now, Eric, do you have the picture here of that Mike Lenson? All right, let's see. P. Noel, is it there? Oh, it's hard to see. I don't know. Let's see. Is it there? Let's see. Let's zoom in. Up there it is, ladies and gentlemen. P. Noel, still there. People really just look for things to get pissed off about sometimes. Because it's there.
Thank you, Michael.
Lentz. Yes, thank you, Mike Lentz, for sending that in. There it is. Okay. Well, we got it. And that's it, folks. That's it. Let's see. I just want to make sure nobody's in the queue there because I didn't want to ignore anybody. Okay, so let's see. Next week then is what? That is I'm going to be in Pittsburgh on the 7th. So can we do a Thursday show next week, Eric? Is that all right with you? Does that work?
Let me check.
All right, he's going to check. Veronica, check.
I think that's a board meeting for the...
All right, so then maybe we're going to take off next week then, folks, because I'll have to pack on Thursday anyway. So maybe we'll take off on Thursday. So just be prepared to listen to reruns of the show because you're going to clearly miss us. Excuse me. And yeah, that's it. All right. So next week, no show. And then later this week, I have some possible guests for this. This is, October is the month of Halloween. It's a spooky month, and I think I have some guests coming in that.
I lied. So my board meeting is actually the 13th. So I would be available next Thursday, I think. So
all right.
If you want to do it.
I would still do it if you're available. And Eric, how about you? Are you available?
Well, the other thing is we're going to be here on Wednesday.
What?
We're going to be here on Wednesday with Steve.
So?
Okay, I'm just saying.
2 different shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought there was. Okay, I'm just saying.
Hey, I would do this 5 days a week if I could do it. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I just want to.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to,
fuck
wear
your
the
life,
people out.
Veronica.
No, the Wednesday show is a special edition.
Okay.
It's not a full show. It's just going to be us with Steve. No commercial breaks, nothing like that.
Gotcha.
So, all right. So we will be back next week on Thursday. So make sure you know about that. And also, like I said, we're going to have some guests coming through the month of October who will deal with the macabre and possibly even ghosts. And by the way, I have a video to show you. I don't know what's going on. Did you see the video I put up on Instagram with the cigarette on the railing at Saks Bridge and it moved?
Oh, so I saw something, but I didn't have access to audio, so I didn't know
Okay.
I don't
Well, we went and did that, and then the other night we were talking about it at dinner, and then I'm like, it was the wind, and she's like, no, it wasn't the wind, and she's like, we need to do it again. So okay, so we go to the mini mart over on Baltimore and Steinway, across from the 1863,
yeah.
and I go in to buy a pack of cigarettes. And it was $13 for a pack of Camel non-filters.
Wow.
For a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to the guy, I'm like, do people really pay that for cigarettes now? And he goes, yeah. And because I quit smoking 10 years ago, so I haven't bought a pack of cigarettes in 10 years. And it was $7.50 when I quit. Now, Eric was telling me that his brand is cheaper, so I guess I just bought an expensive brand, but whatever.
Wow. Yeah.
It was expensive. And hey, it's that Turkish tobacco. What can you do? It's good stuff. But anyway, so we went and did it, and then we did another video. Eric just did it.
Oh my God.
Eric, put the camera down and show everybody. Let everybody see. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. It's amazing.
You just pointed it squarely at my wiener.
Oh, sorry. Good thing it wasn't. Okay, now watch this, folks. Here. Watch. This is amazing.
Hang on, I gotta switch it.
All right, he's got to switch it. Okay, here we go. Now, let's see. Tennessee, can you make... Oh, my God! It made it move! Holy crap. Hold. You guys saw it here first.
That was just a regular cigarette.
The AG Studios haunted. Well, I will not be here next week, guys. I'm done. This is...
You're scared of the ghost?
Yeah.
Don't worry, our ghost is friendly. Anyway, so we went and we took another video, and it did it again. Twice. It moved.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, okay, this is strange, because we watched it back, and I analyzed it a little bit more, and the smoke is going one way, but it blows another way, or it moves another way. So I want to show it on the show next week, and I want us to all analyze it and
it's bullshit.
Figure out. Oh, it's bullshit.
Why would a ghost roll a cigarette? Why wouldn't he pick it up and throw it, or just knock it off, or do why?
We
would
were
he
trying to get him to
roll.
Yeah, we were trying to get him to hit it off the thing,
yeah.
but he just doesn't cooperate with us. I don't know. That's sad.
That's
Ever wanted to be a part of it? I hit the wrong thing. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Mike won the day. Thank you.
Mike won. Thank you. Mike, what the hell took you so long?
What took me so long?
Yeah.
I'm injured and I'm
You didn't. You walked all the way from Devil's Den? Oh. Okay, good.
Salsa night, people. Let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna go eat some
Hispanic
salsa.
food.
Wait, are we gonna eat it or dance it?
I'm not dancing.
I'm not
eating.
dancing either. Let's eat salsa. That's good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a good weekend. I'll see you next week. And don't forget to spay and neuter your pets. We'll talk to you later.
Addressing Gettysburg Today is hosted by Matt Callery and Veronica Brestensky, Esquire. Produced by Eric, the producer, Moni. Applause led by Owen the Clouder. Guests of Addressing Gettysburg Today stay wherever they want. That's not our concern. To be a guest on the show, send an email to eric@addressinggettysburg.com. Addressing Gettysburg broadcasts from the Gettys Bike Tour Studios. Get a 15% discount on your next tour with Gettys Bike. I'm Huevos Grande, the voice of Addressing Gettysburg Today. Thanks for listening.
It's a miracle! I'm cured! Get out of here!
I got Harry May for people that advantage up there. Bullshit.
So we sang the chorus from Atlanta to the sea while we were marching through Georgia. While we were marching through Georgia. While we were marching through
If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's not a chicken.